Do you know how powerful high-value women are? If not, I'm going to let you know in this video. And I'm also going to share 10 traits that make a woman high value. High-value women literally can do whatever they want. They can be who they want. They can make all the shots that they want in their life. And quite frankly, can take over the world, in my opinion. So if you're someone who is either interested in becoming a high-value woman or you're just curious on what makes someone high value, stick around because I'm going to share all the tips in this video. I'm going to have all of the chapters above here just there for you however you need it. So let's talk about what a high value woman is. A high value woman is going to be someone who really just knows her worth. She shows up in her life being authentic, knows exactly what she deserves, is not afraid to speak her mind. A high value woman honestly is just so confident and bold and brave and just takes charge of their life. And there's someone who is just so loving, so energetic, so full of life and love and happiness. And they're just people you want to be around. High value women are literally the people that you look up to. They're the women that, you either are inspired to be like them, not necessarily be them, because we're all unique and, we all have our passions and our talents and individuality. But high value women really just inspire you to be a better version of yourself as well. And this is so important because at the end of the day, it really just allows you to focus on your life and make things about you. And I'm not talking about being selfish or, being just self-centered, not at all. But when you can learn to be a high value individual, then you basically give yourself permission to make your life about you. I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to, when I think about my life, I am so down to try anything that is going to help me be a better version of myself. If you want to be a better version of yourself, if you want to be a happier version of yourself, if you want to be more at peace in your life, if you want to feel fulfilled, then pursuing this journey sounds like a great idea. I think it's something anyone really should try. So if you're wondering, like, why should I care about this video? It's because at the very core, anyone who's pursuing a journey of becoming a high value woman is essentially pursuing a journey about being the very best version of themselves. The one that is happy with who they are, the one that finds peace and harmony in situations that they're in, the one that is self-regulated, the one who responds in a loving and kind way, the one who carries themselves in a way where they have so much self-respect, and anyone can really benefit from these traits. So definitely watch till the end because I'm going to give it to y'all. Okay, I'm going to give it to y'all and I'm going to tell y'all 10 things that make someone high value. And hopefully these are going to be things that you can feel like, oh my gosh, I already do this. That's awesome. Or you might feel inspired to work on a certain area in your life. And I want to be so honest here and say that I'm a work in progress. I'm still working on myself. And I don't necessarily think that any one of us will ever get to a place where we're like, oh, I don't need to do inner work anymore. No, it's a lifelong commitment, but you learn so much about yourself as you go through it. With that being said, let's get into the next section, which is problems that women face with understanding their worth. And I wanted to address this really quickly because if there's anyone who is watching who is like, I want to be a high value woman, like I want to just boom, like I want to hear the traits of a high value woman and I want to just focus on that and become one. We need to pause really quickly and have a little bit of sympathy for ourselves as women and what women experience, and have an understanding of what makes it difficult to become a high value woman. Even if you haven't intentionally, started this journey, there may have been things you've experienced up until now that have kind of like been a setback for you without you even realizing it. Number one, y'all, it's just like women accepting less than they deserve. Like, this kills me. It just is so sad to see. And I've been there. There were so many points in my life where I accepted less than I deserved in jobs, in relationships, in friendships, even with myself, like me accepting less of myself and not knowing my true worth. And a lot of women experience this, whether it's for them similar, right? Like relationships, jobs, friendships, just so much negativity that we accept and allow in our lives. And maybe we don't necessarily want it, but it's like we'll deal with it because we don't think that we deserve better, or we don't think that better is ever going to happen. So it's like that mentality of, well, I might as well be grateful for this thing even though it makes me miserable because, well, I don't want to be like ungrateful. And it's just like, no. So I want to ask you, where in your life are you either settling? Where in life do you feel like you have accepted less than you deserve? And this is just building awareness. This is just building awareness of who we are and why we have settled for those things when we knew that we deserved more, or we felt in our heart that we deserved more. So just ask yourself, like, where have I settled? Where do I continue to settle in my life? And try not to judge yourself. This is more just about awareness, okay? And when you accept less than you deserve, that makes it so difficult to be a high value woman, because a high value woman is going to be someone who knows her worth. She knows when to walk away. She knows when something is not serving her. And that's just such an important skill to learn, because at the end of the day, why on earth would we be here being miserable, feeling miserable, stuck in situations we don't want to be in? That lowers your vibe, that lowers your energy, your productivity. You don't feel good. It probably puts you in a negative state of mind. And when you're in a negative state of mind, you're not fun to be around, even though it's not about other people, but it's like, even for yourself, it's just that energy is so draining, right? So yeah, something that women struggle with that I see is just like settling for less. And sometimes I notice myself doing this as well, but when you're like in this journey of being a high value woman, you get so good at being like, oh, here's where I'm settling. All right, let's repivot. I don't like that I am accepting this situation when I know that I deserve better. Let's have a conversation with this person. Let's talk about what we can do to meet at the middle, whatever. Like, the conversation can look so different depending on the context. But yeah, just I think this is the biggest one for sure, is just accepting less than we deserve, which is no. Okay, we're women. We literally birth human beings. We literally bring souls into this world. Like, there's no reason for us to accept any less than we deserve when we literally create life. Like that, and that's just that. Okay, I had to get comfy because my legs are hurting in this crisscross position, but the lighting I feel like is good right now in this angle, so we're gonna just thug it out. So another problem that women face is that they allow fear to dictate their choices. And what I mean by that is, us women, we know what we want. We know what we want pretty clearly. It's in our heart. We either feel it in our soul, we see it in our mind. We just have a feeling, right? Like, we know what it is that we want most of the time, right? If you ask a woman, hey, what do you want? She'll be like, I want this. This is like, we're connected typically more to our feelings. And so it's not hard for us to necessarily answer that question. But then it's the fear of actually like either allowing it to happen or going in to make it happen, or just believing. And sometimes this is subconscious. Like, you'll say that you want something to happen, but deep down, you won't do the things that you need to make it happen, because it's almost like in our subconscious we feel like we're so safe in the situation that we're in, even though we're not happy, or we're not content with what's going on. But it's like, it's almost a safety net. Like, being in the position you're in almost feels like a safety net, because you know what to expect, versus just going straight for the thing that you know that you deserve. And that is a problem, because then it allows us to live in fear, and it allows us to be okay with these experiences that we're having, even though we're not, and even though we want them to change. Now, I'm not saying, snap your fingers and just get over it and just, ignore your feelings. It's okay to have a little bit of fear, but just ask yourself, next time you're feeling resistance or fear to either try something or go after the thing that you want, where is that fear coming from, and why is it so scary, and why does it prevent you from chasing your dreams or being who you really want to be? Like, what is it about fear that is blocking you? And again, this is just about having an understanding of where these emotions come from and how they literally prevent us from being bold and being brave and calling the shots and going after what we know that we deserve. Another problem that I see that I have also experienced is being stuck in toxic relationships. Listen, I was in a toxic relationship, and I just allowed this relationship and this person really to determine my worth. Like, if I wasn't either being complimented by this person, or if I wasn't on good terms with this person, or if I just even said something wrong to this person, like, I was just so scared. Like, I'd be so scared. I'd feel like I'm gonna lose this person. I'd feel like crap if they didn't give me attention. And it's okay to, of course, get attention from the person you're with, but when you're feeling needy and when you're feeling like shit because they're not giving it to you, or because there's just a difference between receiving the love that you'd like from a partner versus being reliant on it. A high value woman is not reliant on anybody or anything. You don't need anybody to compliment you or feed you whatever. You don't need anybody to always like you don't need anything because you give that to yourself. A high value woman knows she's beautiful, she knows she's the shit, she knows what she has to offer, and if her partner is not seeing that in her, bye-bye. Like, it's literally that simple. And we struggle with this, I truly believe, because it's like, it's so, I just feel like as women, like, we have big hearts and we love to love, and we love the person that we're with, and when we're with them we want to do so much for them and we want to be there for them and all this stuff. But it's just, I think, easy for us to get love bombed in the beginning and then like find ourselves in these relationships that are toxic and that are not serving us. And then, you've been with this person for an X amount of time, and then it's like, oh my God, who am I without them? What am I going to be without them? I don't want to start over. I've said this too. This is a big one I've heard from my friends as well, of like, I don't want to start over. But it's like, what's wrong with starting over? Starting over is a fucking blessing. It's the perfect opportunity to repivot, to reflect, to identify what didn't work, to learn the lesson, and to grow and evolve from it. So don't be afraid of change, and don't be afraid of starting, a new relationship, or even just leaving one that you're in, and having that be the time that you get to just focus on yourself and love yourself and relearn who you are, rediscover who you are. But yeah, like, this is a big problem. This is probably the biggest problem that I see, is just like being stuck in a relationship out of that fear of leaving and starting over, or being alone, like literally just fear of being alone, because it's like, oh my God, when I'm alone, I'm going to be stuck with these thoughts that are just, ugh, like, I hate being by myself, right? And it's like, it's okay to be alone, and it's okay to face those thoughts. And also, a high value woman is not afraid of herself. It's okay for you to go into the darkness that you may carry within and face it. That's how you get through it. And it's like, there's no perfect human being. There's no only love and light here. Like, we all have shadow. We have our shadow self, and our shadow isn't something to be afraid of or to run away from. And quite frankly, the more you run away, the more in fear you're stuck. But when you can face your shadow, the more you can be in love, in a state of love, and a being of love. So don't be afraid to be alone simply because you're afraid of yourself or your thoughts. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So those are the biggest problems that I have seen, that I have also experienced myself, when it comes to problems that kind of come up with understanding like your own self-worth. But what's awesome about this is that anyone can start their journey. Anyone can start doing the inner work and the healing and the leveling up that it takes to become a high value woman. And again, you don't feel like it's something that you have to chase or something that's going to take forever. It's not about the destination. It's just about the process. And the more you do this work, the more you evolve, the more you really feel grounded in who you are. And I genuinely like to share my story for this reason, because even though I consider myself a high value woman, I am still a work in progress, like I said, and it's okay to be a work in progress. It's all just about the love that you continue to grow for yourself and the self-respect that you continue to have for yourself. So yes, let's get into the 10 traits really quickly. If you are enjoying this video, if you have heard something that has resonated so far, definitely like the video and leave a comment down below. I'm really interested to hear anyone else who's had some sort of issue when it comes to like understanding their self-worth. Like, I would just love to hear what other people have struggled with. I have struggled with many aspects of my self-worth, and I would love for this to be a community of support, where maybe something you've gone through might be the thing that someone else needs to hear, or maybe something you try to help you learn your self-worth might be something someone needs to hear to give them momentum and to give them the inspiration to start this inner work. So definitely comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, let's get into the 10 traits. Now, by no means are these all of the traits that make a woman a high value individual. There's so many different traits that can be considered that I didn't add. And I honestly just kind of chose the biggest ones that I have seen. But again, these are not everything. So if y'all end up wanting to see a part 2, I'm happy to make one. Just let me know down in the comments. So number 1, high value women have confidence, okay? Unshakable confidence. They know who they are. They know their worth. They know they're beautiful. They know that their beauty also comes from the inside, because obviously it's not just about how you look. It's more about how they carry themselves. You know when you see a high value woman, because she is walking in with just that confidence, that independence. There's something about her that just is either, it's like mysterious, or she just like oozes this just persona. Like, you just know when you see a high value woman, it's like, oh, this This woman knows who she is. She a baddie, she a 10. She's walking in, she knows who she is, and that's literally that. Like, high value women believe in themselves. They don't need to ask anybody, how do I look? They don't seek for attention. They appreciate attention if they get, genuine compliments, like, oh, you look great today. Like, maybe someone tells her, oh, she looks beautiful today, whatever. High value women accept compliments with gratitude and with love, because it is nice to receive compliments. But high value women aren't over here chasing for them or fishing for them. They're not over here intentionally posting a thirst trap, waiting to see who's gonna slide in their DMs or comment on their posts. Like, high value women are literally just existing, being who they are, knowing damn well that it's good enough. Like, them being who they are is more than enough wherever they go, and that's literally that. So I would ask yourself, if confidence is something that you think about maybe working on, is, do I believe in myself? Do I know I'm beautiful? How do I perceive myself? Do I love who I am? Like, my personality, like, is my personality a 10 out of 10? Like, or you can even ask yourself, would I date myself? Like, would I genuinely date myself? I can tell you guys that I would date myself. If I met a man who literally was a mirror of who I am, give him to me. Bring him here. Like, I want a man who is literally like me. Yes, have your own quirks and like things you're interested in, but when it comes to personality, when it comes to the way they perceive themselves, he needs to be like me in that regards. Because when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, damn, girl, yes, you look good. Or like, damn, you look so beautiful today. Or, you know what? I am so proud of you for showing up for yourself today. Like, I need someone who's going to be nice to themselves. And that's what high value women are. They are nice to themselves. They literally believe in themselves. They know that they're beautiful. They know they look great. And that's that. High value women are independent, okay? And that's not to say that they don't ask for help. You can ask for help and still be independent. What I mean by this, though, is that they don't feel the need to always be around people. They don't feel the need to always have to do things with other people. They don't feel the need to wait on other people, period. Like, high value women can do things when they want, as they please, and by themselves. If they choose to be around people, it's because they're choosing to be around people, not because they need to be. And an example that I love to give for this is, people who live, you don't necessarily have to live alone. I know that's not in everyone's budget. I'm literally living back home. I just moved back home temporarily to pay some things off, pay some debt off, to save a little bit more. And that's a great example of asking for help, right? I needed a little bit of financial help, but that doesn't mean that I'm not an independent person. I can still think for myself. I can still speak for myself. I can still make decisions for myself. Those are examples of being independent. It's really just about, are you an independent thinker when it matters? And are you doing things based off of what you want to do, or is it because of other people? So independence here really is just you showing up for you in a way that is authentic, but it's also just you doing what you want to do and not basing it off of other people. So if you want to take this is a great one that I've also experienced, y'all. A great one is solo trips. Maybe you're a person who wants to take a solo trip, but no one in your group of friends wants to go, but you have it in the budget for you to go alone, right? An example of a high value woman in this situation would say, you know what? I can go by myself. I don't need to go with anybody. I can literally go by myself, have a great time, have a great experience, come back, and I'll be great. Boom. Okay. And I want to say I've taken quite a bit of solo trips. I've been taking solo trips the last 5 years, and that has been the biggest thing to build my confidence. Me being able to trust myself to go somewhere, to face my fear, to do it alone, to explore alone, to meet new people alone, has really shown me that I can be resourceful, but that I'm also grounded and rooted with who I am enough to the point where I don't feel like I need my safety net everywhere I go. I can completely go somewhere by myself knowing I'll be okay. And it's just such an amazing experience to have, and it is a huge confidence booster. So yes, being a high value means you can do things alone. You can go out to eat alone, take yourself to a restaurant alone. You can go see a movie alone. You just don't feel like you always need to be around people to do certain things. Number 3 is a high value woman is just kind. Like, she's kind to herself, she's kind to others. She's just a person who genuinely cares about other people and just pours so much loving energy into herself and to the world around her. And I really love this as an example, because high value women just, they're just genuine in nature. They just have such a genuine, pure heart. And what I love the most about them is like, it's like when you're talking to another high value woman, you just feel good. Like you feel safe. You feel like she's honestly just listening and she's being supportive, and she's listening and communicating and talking to you with just such a loving heart. Like high value women don't sit there and engage in gossip or talk badly about other people. And let's be honest, we've all done that. We've all been on the receiving end and like the giving end of that, including me. Like I, of course, like in middle school used to gossip, even in high school used to gossip, even early college. It's like, it's just in our nature, right, to talk about other people. And I'm not saying that high value women never talk about other people, like, and I'm not even saying that about myself. Like it's normal to talk about others, but it's the way that you're talking about them. If you're talking about someone, say I'm talking to you guys about a friend, right? And I feel like maybe this friend has just been saying mean things to me, or maybe they're talking down on me, or maybe they're just, not showing up as like their best self. Maybe they've been bringing negativity around me, and I'm just like not feeling good about it. That's not me gossiping. That's me honoring the way that I'm feeling and expressing it. Right? That's okay. But if I was like, oh my God, she's so annoying. All she does is talk shit. All she does is just like, oh my gosh, she just needs to get her life together. Like she's just so annoying. Like, and then when you're, talking like that, and you're describing them in a mean, hateful way, that's gossiping. Okay. Or even spreading their information. Like, did you hear that so and so is doing this or dating this person? High value women do not have the time or energy to be worried about what someone else is doing in their life. Okay. I don't have time. I don't know who. It blows my mind to think grown people, adults, genuinely talk so much about other people's lives. And it really, I mean, I guess it's not a shocker, because at the end of the day, it is a projection of how they feel about themselves in some form. And it's like, if you're sitting here gossiping about somebody and saying negative, mean things about someone, my question to you is, how do you really feel about yourself? Like, and I'm saying that with love. Like, ask yourself. Like, we got to start normalizing asking ourselves, how do I feel about myself? How do I really feel about myself? And this is where it takes courage and being brave to go into your shadow, because your shadow is going to teach you something. That's where you're going to find those hidden gems to be like, oh, I am jealous of this person because they seemingly have a better life than me, or they're in a relationship and like I'm still single. And it's okay to be honest with yourself. Like, if you can't be honest with you, this is gonna be rough, okay? And I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but it's just you just, it starts with being honest with yourself. Again, it's like going back to self-awareness. Like, how rooted are you within yourself? Like, how much do you genuinely know yourself and your intentions, and why you say certain things and show up a certain way in your life? So yeah, gossiping, high value women don't do that. We don't have time. We're too busy either focusing on ourselves, our healing, our health, our businesses. Like, we do not have time. That is precious mental energy being spent on someone else that could be spent on something that is going to benefit our own lives. Okay. For gossiping. Number 4, high value women are authentic. Like, and this is one I love. Well, I love all of them, but this one especially, because if you just take a second to pay attention to the conversation you're having with a person, or you just take a second to observe the way someone is carrying themselves, and you tune into your own intuition, you know when someone is being authentic or inauthentic. And I love this because you can spot a high value woman from a mile away. You just know. Like, I don't even think I really have to talk about this one. Like, you just know when someone is being their true self. They're not trying to fit in. They're not trying to say the right thing. They're not trying to be something they're not. They're just being who they are. And so this is just, to me, so beautiful, because when you learn to love who you are, and regardless of what anyone thinks, you are okay with who you are and you accept who you are, you just naturally attract people in your life who match that energy. And I find this so beautiful, because personally, I only want to be, close with and have intimate relationships with people who also love and accept themselves, who also are doing the work to continue being better versions of themselves. And those are just, like, I think, just the best friendships is just people who, they are nice to themselves, and they do care about themselves. And they're also authentic with themselves. So yes, being authentic, it's not always necessarily easy to do. It's like kind of a process, right? Because maybe for so long you felt like you had to be a certain way to be accepted by your loved ones or by your friends or by your society. But just starting with that awareness, like asking yourself, am I really being who I am? Am I really carrying the values that I have deep down? And am I really demonstrating a person who believes in XYZ? Journal, write it out, ask yourself, and just get it all out there to kind of see, like, where are you? So number 5 is self-respect, self-love, self-compassion, all that stuff, which I just love because it really just is all of the things that kind of make you who you are. But high value women have self-respect. They won't settle. They won't let someone to talk to them in a degrading way. They know when to remove themselves. They know how to take care of themselves. They know how to tune in when they're having a bad day and really give themselves what they need. They know how to nurture themselves. They just know how to give themselves what they need. Like, I would just like summarize that in that one phrase of just like high value women know how to give themselves what they need, whether it's walking away, whether it's a self-care day, whether it's just a break, like a moment to just take a break. They just know who they are so well that they can just give themselves what they need. They know it. Number 6 is self-awareness. I know I kind of touched on it a little bit, but high value women have so much self-awareness. It's actually insane. They just can call things out, like, oh, I feel this way because of this, or oh, no wonder my mood is off. It's because this morning I experienced this, or you know what, I said this and that person might have perceived it this way. Maybe let me just follow up and have another conversation. Like, they're very hyper aware of who they are and the way that they're carrying themselves and the way they may be perceived by other people. And it's not about being obsessive of, oh, what do they think about me? How do they think about? Not at all. They're just high value women just are aware of themselves and the way they're showing up for the world. They know if they're having a bad day. They know if something they said rubbed someone off the wrong way. They know if they need to apologize because something they did was unintentionally or maybe even intentionally wrong. Maybe they messed up, but they know when to apologize. Like, there's just so much self-awareness that you have, and this is why I encourage everyone to start doing inner work and to start reflecting and meditating and journaling and really just getting to know yourself. Because I'm telling y'all, obviously perfection at the end of the day isn't the goal, but the more of this work you do, the quicker you just catch on to things. Like, before, I would go, like years ago, I would go days just feeling so weird and off and like, why do I feel this way? Why am I having a bad day? And like not knowing what it was, versus now the second I feel weird, I'm just like, why do I feel weird? Oh yeah, that. Like, instant. I'm telling you, you just learn to have so much self-awareness. And this is just such a skill. This is such, not even like, forget about being a high value woman for a second. Having self-awareness is something that you need to have and work on for any avenue of your life. Like, we should be very mindful and aware of the way that we show up in this world and the way that we have relationships and carry ourselves. Like, it ties into everything you do. Number 7, high value women are direct in their communication. They don't sugarcoat shit. They don't beat around the bush. High value women are very much like, hey, this is how I feel, and this is what my expectations are, and this is what, I would like to see happen, or hey, I've been working here for 2 years and I need to have this maybe not even wait till 2 years. Let's be honest, high value women probably wouldn't even wait a year to ask for a raise. I'm just saying, because when you've been putting in work, you're getting results for your employer, you're having all these results, people are coming back, whatever, then you know when to ask for a raise. Okay, high value women just don't beat around the bush. The second they tune in and they're starting to feel a certain way, they know what they need to do. And by no means does this mean like being rude or being like, hey, you need to do this for me. Hey, I expect this. Like, high value women know the appropriate way to have a conversation. They know, obviously context always plays a role, but typically they're very like loving in their demeanor, but they're also, again, like I said, not sugarcoating it. You just know the way that you need to have a conversation, because there also needs to be a level of assertiveness to get what you want. But it's not about being rude or being mean in any way. It's just about asserting themselves when they need to be asserted, and speaking up for themselves. Like, a high value woman isn't going to sit there and take anything less than she deserves. She's not going to sit there and just wait forever to say how she feels. She's going to most likely, take a little bit of time to reflect on how she feels first, because typically, she's not going to just lash out. She's not going to just to speak. A high value woman is going to be very in tune with how she's feeling. And when it feels aligned and when it feels worthy of speaking up on, she will. So number 8 is how a high value woman speaks love into the world. And this kind of ties into kindness, but high value women just they're nice people. They have big hearts, they have loving hearts, they speak positively, they're trying to do something to make this world a better place, even if it is on a minuscule level, which, let's be honest, even if you're doing something so small, at the end of the day, if the intention is coming from a loving place, it makes a huge difference. Maybe she volunteers once a month. Maybe she volunteers once a year, okay? It doesn't matter what that looks like, but her intentions are pure and she's putting something positive into the world. Maybe she has a podcast. Maybe she's a coach. Maybe she volunteers at a nursing home. Maybe she, starts fundraisers for nonprofits or for certain companies for homeless people. I don't know. But a high value woman gives. She gives when she can, and it's not even about monetary. I'm not talking about money. It's giving herself, but in a way that is rewarding and meaningful. It's not giving herself to someone who is not appreciating her or who's making her sad or whatever. She gives herself in a way that is just so loving, and it's for others to help make this world a better place. And it's just totally different than giving your all in a relationship or even a job that does not deserve you. No, not at all. This is giving when you're not being asked for anything in return. It's showing up and doing something nice when no one asked you to. It's about when and where you're making things about other people, and it's literally not about you. And I love this because at the end of the day, yes, being a high value woman, it is about you and your journey and you loving yourself and you exercising your self-worth, respect, and boundaries. But it's also about being a good person and being there for other people, and also loving other people and just putting good into the world in general, y'all. Like, there is just so much already in this world that can sometimes make it a negative place or a scary place, and high value women do their part to literally uplift the frequency of the world, even if it is smiling at strangers every single day. Because when you smile at someone, they feel something inside of them every single time. Like, I know when someone smiles at me, I'm like, ah, like, dang, that was nice. Like, that makes me feel good. And sometimes that literally sets the trajectory for my entire day. That smile is just so powerful. And high value women they just know how to pour that loving energy and positivity into the world. Number 9, high value women prioritize their well-being. Y'all. Okay, this is different for everybody. Some people do this by going to the gym. Some people do this by going for a daily walk. Maybe it's the way that they, the food that they prep at home. Like, maybe it's meditation, having like mindfulness practices. But high value women prioritize their well-being, okay? In a world where it's like everything is so fast paced, or where, we're working 40 hours a week. Don't know why. I don't know who made that up, because we need to be working less and like experiencing life more. But high value women, regardless of their busy schedule, know how to prioritize themselves, even if it's literally 5 minutes. Like, everyone can create a 2-minute routine in the morning that's just all about you. That 2 minutes can literally be like, I'm just going to close my eyes, I'm going to say some affirmations, or I'm just going to write down today's going to be an amazing day and like journal really quickly about it. But you're going to prioritize your well-being. Like, it's any little thing that makes you feel good, any little thing that shifts your mentality, and you're just like, oh, okay, all right, it's going to be okay, we're good, we're going to be great today. Like, anything, it can be so small, but high value women just know how to prioritize that time, because they don't care about what else they got going on. Number 1 is their well-being, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, literally, if you're a student, if you are an auntie or an uncle or you're a parent, like, I'm gonna be so honest, y'all, because if you're not showing up for you first, how do you show up for everybody else that matters to you? How do you show up for your job, for your pets, or whatever? Like, yes, you may still be showing up, but are you showing up as the very best version of you? And if not, why? You don't have to, like, if you're someone who is potentially watching, or maybe you know someone who might be resistant to this, why? Like, can you create 1 minute? And some people might even say, girl, 1 minute's not going to do anything. Why can't it? Why can't 1 minute be effective? Why can't 5 minutes be effective? If 1 minute's all you got, make it count. Do it every day for 1 minute, and over time you'll start to feel a little bit better. And it doesn't matter the length of time, it's about, are you prioritizing whatever time you can create for yourself to take care of yourself? Like, high value women don't play about their well-being. And I'll even share a personal story. When I was a student in college, my last semester was obviously, right, like, it's like the closer you get, the more crazy it's kind of getting. Oh my God, my schedule, like, I was literally working like almost 80 hours a week between internships, my classes, my job. Like, it was insane. But I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to the gym. Like, I would go to the gym before I would do homework, compared to all the other semesters where I would literally do my homework, go to my job. I would literally prioritize everything else besides the gym, because it's like I'd have to drive to the gym, work out for at least half an hour, drive back home. That's already an hour. And when you're just so stressed and so tight on time, you feel like you just got to pull back on the things where you got to pull back on to like make that time, right? But I got to a point where I was like, I can fail this. Like, I literally was like, if I fail, whatever. If I don't pass, whatever. If I have to ask my professor for an extra day, so be it. I got to that point where I was like, honestly, I don't care. I deserve to move my body right now. I deserve to go to the gym. I deserve to have a break. And so I'm going to give that to myself. And what's so crazy is I learned this in my last semester, that like, it doesn't have to be that stressful, and that my health never has to be on the back burner. It's on the back burner if I let it. And granted, I didn't have to go to the gym. I could have been doing home workouts. I could have been doing walks, right? It didn't have to be the gym, but I prioritized it. And sure enough, I made it work. I passed my classes. I was fine, literally. And it was just an hour of my day. Like, that hour wasn't as crazy, or like, it just wasn't as much as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I thought it was gonna set me back so much, but it didn't. It sounds so petty because it's like an hour, really. But you just, the things we tell ourselves, right? And it wasn't even a big deal. So where can you create that time for yourself? Even if it is just a couple minutes. So really quick, before we actually even move to the last trait that I have, if you can relate, like, if you're someone who has created some sort of story when it comes to prioritizing yourself, or the lack thereof, let me know down in the comments, like, what things have y'all told yourself as far as like why you couldn't go to the gym, or why you couldn't do like your self-care, or whatever it is. So number 10 is, a high value woman speaks her truth. Okay, her show her throat chakra is, oh my God, my mic. Her throat chakra is literally open, okay? She speaks her mind. She is not afraid to say what she's thinking, what she's feeling. If she's feeling like she is feeling emotional, or she just needs something from her partner, or she feels like her friend upset her, or she wants to leave this job, or she doesn't want to take this trip with, this group of whatever. Like, high value woman speaks her truth, and she's not afraid, because she knows who she is. And at the end of the day, it's not about other people accepting her, and it's not about avoiding other people's feelings. She is just true to herself, and it doesn't mean she's rude or disrespectful in the way she carries herself or presents herself. She just speaks her truth because it's her truth. Why would a high value woman, why would any of us hold in our truth? Yes, there's some things that don't always need to be said, sure, but a high value woman, when she feels she needs to speak her mind and what's on her heart, she will. Like, point blank, period. If it's in her heart and her mind and it needs to come out, it's going to come out. She's not gonna repress and repress and repress. She's going to release and release and release. like the point blank, period. And I love this, because it really just comes back down and boils to the fact that high value women are just not afraid to be who they are, because at the end of the day, at the very core, they know who they are. They know that they're worthy of love. They love themselves. They accept themselves. And when you can give yourself the gift of just loving who you are regardless, and not being afraid of how anyone's going to perceive you, you really get to live life on your terms. You give yourself so much mental freedom, and you stop worrying about all this other bullshit, all this stuff that literally doesn't matter. and you literally get to feel so much more peace within yourself, and you get to have all this mental energy and time to focus on other things that matter to you. You get to be creative, you get to be playful, you get to be in that like feminine energy. And I'm not talking about being girly, but just like that creative energy, because you're spending way less time on all these things that don't matter and way more time on what does. And when you're grounded and rooted with who you are, it's so much easier to be in that creative, playful energy. So yes, y'all, those are the 10 traits that I have for you. There's so many other traits that I could also talk about. Let me know down in the comments if y'all want to see a part 2. I could definitely share some other traits on what makes a woman a high value individual. And yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Definitely like this video. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribe to the channel for more high value content, for inner work content, and just overall self-development. And I'll see you guys in the next one.